Hey friends, welcome back to Uncharted, your sidekick for life. Today, I'm sitting down with Carly Brown. She's the founder of Alchemy Juice, a mom of 3, and a mentor to a fast-growing online business community. Her story is full of bold pivots, landing a senior events role at just 22, heading to India to study yoga, and later walking through one of life's hardest turns, being diagnosed with thyroid cancer shortly after her first son was born. That experience reshaped everything, her faith, her mission, and ultimately led her to create a healing-centered company right in the middle of the pandemic. We talk about the mindset that carries you when life gets messy, what it means to move from producing the stage to actually standing on it, why you have to think in years, not months, and how faith and the right mentors can completely change your path. If you've been waiting to feel ready before you take a leap, this conversation is your permission slip. Okay, let's dive in. Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie Payton Newman. I am an actor, podcast personality, and friend here to Carly Brown, who I have on the podcast today. So thank you so much for being here, Carly.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Carly, we'll start from the beginning. You are so many things, just like everybody is, but above all, to me, you're a mentor and an entrepreneur, and I want to start back at the beginning. Like, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a vet when I grew up.
Really?
Yeah, I had and still have a very tender spot for animals. Definitely don't want to be a vet now,
Right.
but like little girl, 6 years old running around, I wanted to be a vet.
I love that. I would have guessed you wanted to be a professional dancer.
That is so funny that you say that
Really?
because there was also a time it was this is like actually a really funny story.
Please.
I loved to be naked.
Oh, great.
Like I just
Yeah.
little kid loved to
Totally.
be naked, and sometimes I would put on like my Minnie Mouse bathing suit.
Love it.
I have so many photos of me and running around in my Minnie Mouse bathing suit. And one day I did tell mom, I told my mom, I was like, I just want to be naked and dance on stage.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, Carly. I'm like, I just want to be free and dance for people. And I think I think back to that.
That is so funny.
So yes, that was actually like in school when I said, what do you want to be? It was vet, but like
Yeah.
at home in my freedom state.
Naked and dance on stage, baby.
Yeah.
That's my New Yorker in you. I love it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I saw some videos of you performing to your family. I'm shocked that you're not a performer.
Yeah, no.
But you would put on plays and talent shows and stuff like that.
Lots of song and dance.
Oh,
yeah,
so good.
for sure.
That was how you expressed yourself.
Still do. 40 years old.
That's the best.
Do.
That's the best. Do your kiddos also follow that lead?
Yeah, I mean they're very expressed. They're
Yeah.
very free. I mean, we also live like this, on the homestead, homeschooling, like very expressed free life.
I laughed out loud when Ross posted homeschooling thus far.
Oh yeah.
And your middle Cruz was wearing a bucket on his head. I literally burst into laughter.
Yeah,
It was so cute.
That was the perfect ending to that reel.
So good. It was a button.
I did the same thing. So I don't know if it's the exact it's just they're wild little boys. I'm a mom of 3 boys, and they're just wild right now. So I think like my female expression of song and dance was like the feminine expression of their wild boy right now. But,
oh, that's great. I
Yeah.
love that. So this podcast is all about mentorship. I want to get into like your journey as a businesswoman and where it started. But you wanted to be a vet as a child. And then as you were going through high school and into college, like what were you pursuing?
So I actually got really, really into music when
Cool.
I was in like probably 6th grade all the way through high school. Like it was like the pop scene, like Hanson and the Backstreet
Oh, yeah.
Boys and Britney Spears and all of these people.
Yep.
And so around that time, I decided that I wanted to do music management. I wanted
I
to
love that.
manage bands.
Cool.
And I'm from New York, Long Island, and so I had access to New York City pretty easily. And so once I went to college, I actually went for public relations. And this was because I had a neighbor who worked in the music industry, and he was like, do public relations because really it's just being with people, right?
Right.
You're just studying how to be with people.
Right.
And so throughout college, that's what I studied. I did a a major in public relations, a minor in business at Penn State University. And I went there because I really wanted that like big, typical college experience. And so one of the first internships that I had was at Sony BMG. It was over,
Cool.
with one of the record labels. It was right when the Jonas Brothers were like coming up.
Nice.
And it was interesting because I did a summer internship, and doing that made me see that that was not what I wanted. Like I got a taste of, kind of what the music industry was at the time, like very cutthroat. And my manager of this internship was really derogatory and really rude. And I was like, oh, this is not what I want to be doing. It wasn't the world that I wanted to be a part of. So after that, I kind of shifted gears and went into event coordinating. That was my mindset. I was like, okay, I'm going to shift and do event coordinating. And the next summer, the internship that I had was with the Bryce Jordan Center, which was like the where all the artists came. What is the venue where all the artists came to Penn State and performed.
Oh, okay,
So
sure.
I did event coordinating.
The Moody Center.
Yes, exactly. The Moody Center. Yeah. I did event coordinating for that venue. And so when I graduated college, I really enjoyed it, really liked it. I loved being able to create a platform for people to be heard and seen. So I was behind the stage creating a platform for other people to be heard and seen, and I really enjoyed that.
Cool.
So when I graduated college, I actually was looking for event coordinator jobs, and I found a job with a company called James Wright International. It was in San Diego. I was in New York at the time, but I knew I wanted to go west, and the job was for a senior event coordinator, so someone who had been in the industry for like 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
And I was recent college graduate.
Right.
This was my first job out of college. But I was like, oh, this is perfect. It was all about the law of attraction and manifestation and how to use your mind and your words and your thoughts and your actions to create the reality you wanted to live in. And I was like, this sounds really fun. Like I could do this. So I flew to San Diego and I did an interview with them. And they essentially said, we were looking for someone with way more experience than you, but we think that culturally you're the perfect fit.
Wow.
And so I got that job. So at 22, I moved out to San Diego, and I was putting on these events for anywhere from 50 to 700 people.
Wow.
That I was, doing everything from the flights to the hotels to the speakers to coordinating the volunteers. And it was a very pivotal time of my life, like having that be my first job out of college.
That much responsibility, too.
Yeah.
What inside you gave you the gumption to still apply even without all of the experience that they were looking for?
I think that it was really my mom who encouraged me to do it. That she's definitely been a big part of my story, from inspiring me, encouraging me, even a lot of the health stuff that I do today.
Yeah.
My mom was, gluten-free in 1980 and getting raw milk in 1985. And
Stop it.
yeah, she's just been into this stuff for a long time.
Wait,
And
that's so cool.
I remember no shade on teachers at all.
Yeah.
At all. I love teachers.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a teacher. And that was really what I was advocating for. Like at one point I kind of got like a little like misdirected, and I was like, I'll just become a teacher. That's like the straight and narrow path. And my mom was like, no, that's not your destiny. Like your destiny is just, it's bigger. It's bigger than that. And again, no shade to teachers. Love teachers. We need them. But she was just like, she would say things to me like that. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what you're talking about. And she was like, no, like dream bigger, go bigger. And so she was really the one who encouraged me to be like, yeah, just go for it. See what happens.
What a saint.
Yeah. And so I get to be that to my children too, which is, pay that forward.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And similar, you're one of 4 siblings, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is it similar to your other siblings? Like they dreamt big and they're doing big things? Like,
yeah, we're all entrepreneurs.
Really?
Yeah, all 4 of us are entrepreneurs.
That is a wild statistic for one family, all 4 to be entrepreneurs. That really is a testament to your mom and parents and just your upbringing to be able to believe in yourself. It's my understanding that you have had a close relationship with your grandfather. Was
Mhm.
he influential in that regard?
He was kind of like a renegade in that regard
Cool.
too. Just like a he was an entrepreneur. My grandfather on my dad's side was an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. I mean,
Really?
he worked in the sales world for a long time. He worked for different shoe companies. He would represent them and get their shoes into all of the department stores, let's say. But he was self-directed because he was on commission. So he had his own little office, and he just marched to the beat of his own drum. So I think I saw it a lot, and that was just like imprinted in my DNA in
Mhm.
somehow.
Yeah, I can see that. It happened to me too. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs,
Mm.
and yet they also have quote unquote day jobs. Like my mom works for the lab as a forensic toxicologist for the Texas Department of Public
Wow.
Safety. My dad's a professor at UT, but he's also an entrepreneur and inventor. So I got to see them always coming to my sports events and my plays and stuff like that because they could make their own schedules.
Yeah.
And that was really enticing to me.
Mhm.
And that's why I think my body literally rejects a 9 to 5.
Mhm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
And I think there's a lot of people that maybe they weren't modeled it in the way that we were, but they still have that rejection of the 9 to 5.
Hmm.
And that's where podcasts like this get to be really powerful to say, like, you just gotta, if you feel that calling, if you feel like, I want to do this my way, I feel they have something that's calling them forth, something that needs to be emerged. None of us knew what to do. None of us knew how to do it. It's just a
Right.
matter of taking the leap and figuring it out. That's like the entrepreneur, what's the build the jump off the cliff and build the parachute on the way down.
Right,
That's
right. I
somehow
haven't
it.
heard that, but that's great. That's a
Yeah,
great visual.
that's what an entrepreneur does. It's like everyone wants to have it just right. When everything's perfect, then I'll do it. And that's
Right.
not really it. The entrepreneurial way is to take the leap and then figure it out as you're going. Because I had no clue how I was going to do this job. I just knew I wanted to be in that type of an environment. I wanted to be on the West Coast. I didn't want some corporate job. And I was like, I trust myself. I can rise to the occasion. I will figure this out, which is also where our mindset comes in so much.
Right.
Because if my mindset was, who are you? Why do you think you can do this? Who do you think you are to do this? Someone would be better fit. I would have never stepped into that.
Right.
But the internal dialogue was, this, you can figure this out, Carly. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot, but you can do this. You've got it. And so how it's also just a testament to how important our internal dialogue is.
Right. Right. Do you think it helped being in the environment of James Ray International and everything they were teaching?
Mhm.
Like, because we've read the book Harmonic Wealth, and
Mhm.
it's like the 5 pillars of health are financial, relational,
Physical,
physical,
spiritual,
spiritual, and
emotional.
emotional.
I think we got them all.
Yeah. And if we didn't, we'll fix
Yeah.
it in the
Well,
show notes.
yeah.
But yeah, all of those together have to be in, I don't know,
Harmony.
harmony. There you go. Harmonic wealth. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm.
So getting that information fed to you at these events, I imagine they were motivational events for people to hear James Ray speak.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, there were a bunch of different tiers of events. Obviously, the biggest one was like a 2-day event. It was 700 people, and then you could go throughout his course of programs. But all of them were really getting your thoughts, actions, and feelings in alignment. Because if our thoughts, actions, and feelings aren't in alignment, we're gonna feel disconnected in a certain place. And so I worked for him from 22 to 25,
Wow.
and his work is still a foundation of my life. So much so that 3 months ago we read it as our book, as part of our book club
Right.
within our business
Right.
community. His work transformed my life. It transformed the way that I see the world, the words that I use. Because really, at the end of the day, a lot of us have negative programming just from society
Yeah.
as a whole, right? If you've been blessed to be in a household that uses affirmative language and things like that, it's a gift. But most people are in society. There's a lot of negative programming. You can't do it. You're not enough. Who do you think you are? Stay quiet. Be seen and not heard.
Mhm.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Like all of these things that we kind of people grew up hearing. That once we're adults, we have to flip that narrative upside down. We have to retrain our mind. This is a lot of, like, I love Joe Dispenza's work as well,
Mhm.
because this is a lot of what he teaches as well, is that we have to actually change the neural pathways in our brain in order to create a different reality for ourselves, a
Right.
different future for ourselves. So when I first started doing his work, even though I grew up in an entrepreneurial, loving home, I still am a member of society
Right.
and had negative programming around things. Maybe the way that I viewed my body, the way that I spoke about myself. Um, there were a lot of things done right, and there were a lot of things that
Human.
I'm human, that I had challenges with. And so when I started learning from James, there would be times where I would notice the familiar behavior of my brain and say, "Nope." And I'd choose a different thought. I would choose a more empowering thought. I would literally be saying something. Like, one thing he would always say is, like, someone would say, "How are you doing?" "Not bad." Okay, well, you're saying bad, right?
Right.
So now you're putting out the vibration of the word bad. Instead of, I'd be like, "Oh, not bad. Everything's okay." Then I could change that language. Someone would say, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing so well. I'm so grateful for another beautiful day."
Mm.
How does that change the vibration of my body and the interaction with that person? So there were, like, these really tangible things that I was learning from him at a very young age that transformed my life. And so his book, Harmonic Wealth, is a big recommendation that I think every single person should read it.
That sounds so powerful because you were getting fed all this information, a new way of being while your brain was still developing,
Mhm, mhm,
which is game changer.
mhm.
While you were there, did you see yourself like staying with him forever, or was there a ceiling that you reached while being there? Like, you have the college degree, you have a great job, you're learning more than you probably thought you could or would, or I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. But what was the process of moving on after James Ray?
Mhm. So after working for him for 3 years, I kind of just came to a place of completion. I
Okay.
I felt like I had coordinated all the events, I'd attended them, I'd kind of got as high as I could get in the company. It was a very small company,
Sure.
there were like 15 of us.
Right.
Um, and so at that point, an interesting thing happened where I felt like I was looking and seeing all of these people expanding their minds, but then they were eating terrible food on the breaks.
Wow.
And I was like, this is so interesting. Like, there's this consciousness evolution happening, but what about the physical body? So I went and got really interested in the physical body. Like, okay, if we expand our consciousness and our mindset, how do we then get our body in alignment with that?
Hmm.
And this is when I started getting really into yoga, like the physical practice of yoga. And I became a vegan. This is my phase of being a vegan.
Did that.
Yes, exactly. I think we've all had
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
season. So this is my vegan phase. And so I just really got interested in getting the physical vessel to match, like, the elevation of the spiritual vessel,
Mm.
let's say. And I got a one-way flight to India. So in 2010, I took a one-way flight to India with 3 of my girlfriends, and I essentially did 3 months going to yoga ashrams around India.
That's so cool.
And I lived at some point in a reforestation village where, there's no running water or electricity. We only ate what we could grow from the ground. And at that point, while I was in India, I got really clear that I wanted to become a health coach. At this point, like, this emergence of holistic health coaching and all those online
Right.
programs was emerging. This was 2010. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to a healthy city. So it was either Boulder, back to San Diego, or Austin, Texas.
Right.
And I'm going to become a health coach, and I'm going to do this entrepreneurial thing. So I knew one girl who lived in Austin, Texas. So I moved to Austin and I signed up to become a holistic health coach with the Integrative Institute, IIN, Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And
This is so great. I knew
yeah,
nothing about this. This is
yeah.
great. Thank you for sharing all this.
You're welcome. But during that time, while I was getting my business off the ground, I still needed to bring in money.
Sure.
So I did what I knew. I got an event coordinating job
Love it.
with a nutrition company, because I was like, okay, I'll combine the thing I want to learn
So
with the
smart.
thing I know how to do. And I was doing event coordinating for this company called Standard Process, and it was like a whole food supplement line. online. So we taught doctors, naturopath, acupuncturists, chiropractors how to use whole food supplementation in place of pharmaceutical drugs. And I didn't teach that. I just put on the events.
Sure.
Again, I created a stage for other people to have their message shared. I worked at standard process Monday through Friday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I worked at a restaurant in order to keep bringing in more money.
Yeah.
And then I did my health coaching certification in like little slots I had throughout the day. I actually did a lot of it at my job, truth be told. But I remember there's one moment I can remember where I was, and I was in my office at this job, and I wrote it down in my journal, and I said, for so far in my career, I have created a platform for other people to be seen and heard. I'm ready to be the one to be seen and heard.
Okay.
And I wrote it down, and this was probably like 2013 now, because I stayed at that job as well for about 3 years. And that was really like a big turning point. I remember even how vulnerable it felt for me to write that down and be like, can I? Should I? Do I have enough to say? But I felt this calling to be the one on stage as opposed to the person facilitating. Yeah, supporting the person on stage.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, yeah, and that was kind of where, like, that 2013 was the last time that I had a job. Mhm, mhm. I was still broke for a while, but
Okay, that's
I was an
okay.
entrepreneur. I was a broke entrepreneur for
Yes,
a
you
while,
were.
but I was an entrepreneur. I did not go to
Yes.
a job. 2013 was the last job that I had.
That is so cool,
Mhm,
Carly.
mhm.
So, how do we end up to today? Like, take me through. I know you're the founder and owner of Alchemy. I know that you have a team of, it feels like it's now 600.
Yeah, it's
And
about 600 people.
that just,
Yeah.
since I
Through our online
joined,
business
through
community.
our online
Mhm.
business, it's raised 100 people. And that's just in 4 months, 5 months.
Mhm, mhm. It's growing really rapidly. It's
That's
growing really rapidly.
amazing.
It's a beautiful mission, and I'd love to share
Please,
about that, about
please.
what we're doing. But from like 2013, I would say, to about 2019, I also met my husband in 2013.
Oh,
So
perfect.
I met my husband Ross in 2013, and he was a musician. He moved here from Montana to be a professional fiddle player. And so I was the New Yorker who moved to Texas to come to the country.
Right.
And he was from Montana and moved to Texas to come to the city. So that's just also like the
That
difference
is great.
in our
Right,
personalities as
right.
well. So from 2013 to about 2019, him and I were just like living on a dream. I think we were making like $1,500 a month. Like,
Love
we
it.
were doing digital marketing, and I was doing health coaching, and he was playing gigs. We moved to Costa Rica for a while. We lived out of an old beat up Dodge van and camped
You're
around the
in
US. We
love.
were in love,
Yes.
and just free birds. We just wanted to march to the
Cool.
beat of our own drum, but we were still putting one foot in front of the other. I remember reading books about videography, like How to Shoot Video That Doesn't Suck was literally the name of the book.
That's so great. What a title.
Yeah, we started learning about videography. We started learning about photography. We started making some YouTube videos in like 2014. I started posting on social media, just like the health stuff that I was
Yeah.
learning. I had no clue what I was doing
Right.
at all. I just had this burning fire and passion to help people. I wanted to serve people. I know that. I wanted to share my voice, be seen and heard, and be able to share my voice. And I wanted to bring in income on my own without working for somebody.
Okay.
So I would say for those 6 years, it was just, young kids doing what we could to get by. And then in 2019, 2018, we found out that we were pregnant with our son, Cruz. And that was a major shock to us because we didn't know that we wanted kids. At that point, we just kind of wanted to travel the world freely and
Right.
keep doing what we were doing,
Yeah.
wild and free, just
Young
the
and
two of
wild and
us.
free. Love it.
And so it was a big shock that we were pregnant with our son, Cruz. We had him, he was born. And then 4 months later, I found a lump on my neck.
Mm.
And I thought it was just something hormonal, and it grew over the next 4 months. I watched it, and when he was 8 months old, I was diagnosed with metastatic thyroid cancer. And that was another really big pivot in my life. And what I know now is that that was God ordained in my
Mhm.
life, because everything that came after, the way that I changed, the way that my life changed, the way that my mission changed, was because God said, you want to serve people. You want to play a role in helping people be healthier, be happier, live with more sovereignty and freedom. Well, you can't be a teacher of that until you navigate it yourself. So he
Mm.
brought me to my knees in despair, wondering if I'd be around to see my son born. And I had to learn how to heal my body, heal my mind, my spirit, and even a deeper way. Like, you've obviously, this has been going on since, 2010 now we're talking
Right.
about, but he was like, we're going to go deeper, because if you want to be a vehicle for change for others, like, you had to have gone through it.
Whoa.
And
Full body chills,
yeah,
Carly.
yeah, yeah, and I always say that I'm not grateful for the diagnosis, but I'm grateful for who I became because of it,
Mhm.
and it's where, my faith in God came from in a much deeper way, because I was like, "This is not accidental. This is not bad luck. This isn't I sinned and did something
Right,
wrong.
right.
This is there's a reason that this is happening," and that's how I navigated the healing journey, and out of that came our company called Alchemy Juice. So, the healing journey was very expensive, and as you heard, we were not making a lot of money. We didn't
Mhm.
have any savings. The first cancer clinic that I wanted to go to was $45,000.
Wow.
Didn't have that anywhere to be found. And so I remember my mom and my husband and I sat on the couch and said, "How are we going to make money?" This is right before the pandemic. Okay, this is the
Oh,
fall
yeah,
right before
20
the
okay.
pandemic, and I was like, "Well, I can't I've never had a corporate job in my life, right? We've been these entrepreneurs for a while, but I could go get a corporate job, but then I'm not gonna have the time to do my healing." I was doing like 2 to 3 hours of detox a day during my
Wow.
cancer healing journey. And we were like, "Okay, let's think. What do people need? What do we like to do? And what will people pay for?" And at the time, I was juicing an hour a day, 64 ounces of raw organic cold pressed juice.
Mm.
And there were a couple days that I couldn't get to it, and I looked around Austin and no one was doing 100% organic juice in glass. And I'm like, this is ludicrous, because when you juice, you condense all of the micronutrients, the phytonutrients, the plant enzymes, but if it's not organic, then you're just condensing all of those pesticides and herbicides that are sprayed on the plant. So
Right.
non-organic juice is a no-no.
Right.
And then everybody was bottling it in plastic, and then it's sitting on the shelves in plastic with microplastics leaching in. And I wasn't juicing out of it being this new trendy thing. I was healing of cancer.
Right.
And so I thought, well, if I want this, there must be other people who need and want this. And at that point, I had still a relatively small Instagram account and said, would anyone be interested in us juicing for you? And I think 12 people said yes. So we went to the store, we bought all this produce. It's sitting on the floor. My mom and I are like hovering over it, and we're like, so how do we multiply this recipe by 12? Like, my mom and I had only juiced for us
Right,
before.
right.
And Ross was like, hold on. And he went, he got a little spreadsheet, and we figured out that we had to measure the ingredients by the gram and then
Okay.
multiply it by 12 to get, he made a
He's such a
spreadsheet.
great math guy.
Yeah. He
Business mind, love it.
exactly. That's Ross.
Ross made the spreadsheet.
Ross made the spreadsheet. Carly did not make the spreadsheet. And within a month, we had enough orders that we needed to go into a commercial kitchen. And this is all while I'm in the heart of my cancer healing journey. And shortly
Wow.
after that, the pandemic hit. And we were one of the only businesses in Austin that were allowed to stay open, because we were doing door to door food delivery. I remember going into the kitchen with this
Wow.
tiny little juicer. It's like this big. It's probably 3 pounds. I have gloves, a mask. Like, in the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't know what
Right.
was happening. But I was like, we will bring juice to the people. If there's a pandemic, we need to bring juice to the people. So we would go into this kitchen, me, Ross, and mom. We would juice, and then we would stay up till midnight juicing. And at 5 in the morning, Ross and I would get in the car and go drop juice at people's doors. Like,
I love
it's so
this.
interesting, because in my journey, I've now created multiple seven-figure businesses.
Right.
And it's like, oh, look at Carly. Must be nice. She has this Instagram account. She has these businesses. I hope you're hearing the journey that I've
Right.
been on from 2010 to be where I am in 2025.
Yeah, that's 15 years of grinding.
Grinding, and really, it's only really turned in the last 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, so I hope it's a testament to, like, just consistently
Mm.
putting one foot in front of the other, and for anybody who wants this quick overnight success, I really don't believe that it exists, because you have to become the person
Mhm.
who can hold for the success, because now we'll get there, but when I did finally create the financial abundance, I was like, this is exactly how it's meant to be. Perfect. I wasn't like, oh my God, am I going to lose it? No, I'd worked for 15 years to become the type of person who could hold for that financial abundance,
Right.
and also knew, like, it wasn't just about the finances. It was
Mm-mm.
about who I became. It's about who I get to help. It's about who I get to mentor in coming into their journey of that. And it's like the money's fun, but I was having a great time eating peanut butter and jelly in the back of the Dodge van at the gas station.
Absolutely.
Now I'm just having a great time eating. I really like filet mignon right now, and I'm eating
Hey.
filet mignon on a 5-acre ranch. So but I'm still having a great time is the
Yeah.
point. It's just, it's not about the money. It's who you become that allows the doors of financial abundance to open
And stay.
and stay. Exactly. So we launched Alchemy.
Carla,
We
this is so great. I love this so much. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. We launched Alchemy. It's me, Ross, and Mom. We hired our first delivery driver,
Yes.
and that was in 2020. So we've had Alchemy for 5 years now. It's a 7-figure business. We have 4 cafes.
Wow.
We're working on our first location outside of Austin in Vail, Colorado. Um,
Congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you. And what I'm most proud of with Alchemy is that in a world of fast, cheap food that
Mhm.
really is not even food, that's food-like substances, pretty 95% of the places that you go eat, we have the most incredible um, integrity around everything that our products touch, become. We have a $12,000 filter where all of our produce is triple washed. All of the ice in our cafes is reverse osmosis remineralized. All filtered water flows into our coffee machines. You know, people are going out and getting coffees. You're getting coffee made with tap
Tap
water
water. Right.
and non-organic beans, and coffee beans are extremely moldy.
Right.
We obviously have a water ionizer there where we're giving hydrogen water to people. We make our teas with the hydrogen water. Produce is 100% organic. It's all in glass. We reuse our bottles. It's truly a place of healing. And that's whether someone's on they're navigating cancer, autoimmune, or they're healing from something, or they just want to feel good. They want energy. They want vitality. They want life force flowing through them. I picture raw organic cold pressed juice as like an IV of nutrients
Mhm.
into our body.
Right.
So Ross and I were running Alchemy from 2020 to still today. But in 2022, as part of my cancer healing journey, I learned about molecular hydrogen water. And this is where you and I come
Yes.
into the
Yes.
equation together, because I bought a water ionizer that creates living structured molecular hydrogen water. So most people are walking around drinking filtered water, and which is great. We need filtered water because you're removing bacteria, parasites, pathogens, birth controls, arsenic, lead, fluoride, right?
Right.
We need to remove all the contaminants from the water, but then you're just left with a dead, contaminant-free water.
Mhm.
And then most people are putting it into plastic bottles, where now you're getting microplastics into your body, which disrupt our hormones.
Right.
And the disruption of hormones is, an epidemic that so many people are experiencing.
And they don't even know it.
They don't even know it. Exactly. Everyone, please go do a hormone panel.
Yes.
Or they're drinking it out of their sink, and that's no good too, because then you're just drinking tap water, which isn't fit for human consumption. So what the ionizer does is it takes filtered water, it puts it through this process called electrolysis, and the byproduct of electrolysis is molecular hydrogen, which is the most potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory on the planet. Why does this matter? Because 90% of the disease processes that the human body experiences are rooted in inflammation. This is the water that they're giving out at Hope for cancer patients. I've heard testimonials of autistic children who began speaking after drinking this water because the molecular hydrogen molecule is so small it can cross the blood-brain barrier. So I bought this water for myself, began to drink it as part of my healing journey, and then realized there was an affiliate marketing model to it. And I was like, oh, of course I'll do this because I love connecting people to
Things that can help
practices and
them.
products that will change their life.
Right.
And that was when I went from paying myself about $5,000 a month through my juice business, which, I'm one of the founders and all the money goes back into the
Right.
business. At this point, I couldn't even live on $5,000 a month with 3 kids. And so once I started doing that business, I did about $500K my first year. I did
Wow.
$1 million my second year. And now I get to help teach other people how to do this too, how to use this product, how to support getting this product into people's homes so that they can benefit from hydrogen water, but also how they can create a business with it. And
Right.
it's a freedom business. You can do it anywhere that you have a laptop or a computer. And in 2025, if you don't want to be going into an office, you do not have to be. You
Right.
just need to be willing to get your hands dirty. You need to put your ego aside a little bit. You need to get your hands dirty. You need to be a student. And the beautiful thing about our business that we're in is that there's a place where you get legacy income, where you get paid for life that's willable to your children. And on average, people hit that in 5 years.
Wow.
So somebody right now having no skill set around digital marketing or affiliate marketing can start learning. And within 5 years, with consistent application and learning and growth, they can have this legacy income for life. It's like, I don't know any other business that I believe that every single person should be a part of other than this one. And it's what allowed you and I to
That's
meet.
right. That's so cool, Carly. What a perfect culmination of events and an
Mhm.
explanation of what has happened. Because I want to ask you, what is the biggest misconception people have when coming into joining you in business or when hearing about high-ticket affiliate marketing?
That it's gonna happen immediately.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing, and they come in, they buy these products, and first of all, you invest in products. You invest in life-changing products. Done, period, end of story. If that was the end of the road, it's still worth it.
100%.
Right?
100%. That's where I found peace.
Mm-hmm. And also, I want to hear about your experience with the water. Let me finish this
Yes,
one
please,
thought.
please.
But so done, end of story. You get these life-changing products. But then for free for investing in the products, you get access to mentorship and training, online sales, offline sales. We do mentorship containers. I mean, I've had coaches that I've paid $50,000 to mentor with, and then I turn around and share it with everybody else for free. And so it takes time. This is a business. You just heard me tell a decade-long story of my evolution and growth as an entrepreneur. I would do it 100 times over to be where I am today. All of the pitfalls, all of the moments of fear and doubt and crying, and am I on the right path, and the celebrations and the highs and lows, I would do it over in a second to know that it would land me where I am right now.
Wow.
But everybody wants the quick fix because we live in a society of instant satisfaction, instant gratification. And so I always tell people you have to think in terms of years and not months. In this business, but every business.
Right.
Every business, you have to think in years and not months because right now, the person who just signed up to do this is not the type of person who can hold for or create the type of success that they want. We need to work on their mindset. We need to talk about the way they speak to themselves. We need to talk about their vision for the future. We need to talk about who they are every single day when they show up in their lives, how they nourish their body, their mind, their spirit. Like all of that needs to happen before financial abundance begins to flow to them. And so if you want to get in the game for that, if you want to get in the game for real, true expansion, growth, and transformation, real, true financial, long-lasting abundance with legacy income, then let's play. But if you want to come and say, well, I've been here for 3 months and I got on 4 calls and And I posted once on Instagram, where's my $10,000 a month?
Right.
That's just silly.
Right.
That's silly.
Yeah.
Come on, don't be
Because you're not
silly.
going to get that at a corporate job either.
Yes, exactly. That's true. You're right. That's the truth. So I think that's the biggest misconception is that, okay, I'm going to buy my products and then I push a button and suddenly money starts flowing
just
into my
comes
bank
in.
account. Yeah.
That's so true. And we talk about how when joining this business, you really invest in a personal development course with a compensation plan.
Exactly.
And that has been true for me. Like earlier, you mentioned something that my therapist and I call thought stopping. When a bad thought would come through your head, you would say no and you would redirect it. I use the word stop and then I redirect.
Yes.
So it's very similar. But for me, I was telling my therapist yesterday, I'm going to tell my story about redemption and how I've overcome addiction. And I'm doing that tonight at an art exhibit.
Yay.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
And she's like,
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carly. She's like, how did you come this far before you were full of shame and full of like, no, nobody can know about this. I said, really? I give credit to the water business, to the personal development that I've been experiencing and expanding in and growing and holding space for myself to have the mercy and grace that I need to give myself despite my past, despite my present, through my present. Like I've got off antidepressants since I've joined. And like there's so much growth has happened. So much hardship has happened and I'm still standing today. And I even having the confidence to ask you to come onto the show, and now having this podcast on my own, like hosting solo. So a lot has happened.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. But that I've had to believe in myself enough to be able to hold the fort down and keep the success that I'm building.
That is an inspiring story to people. Here's all the things that I've gone through.
Right.
Here's where I'm still going through stuff.
Right.
Here's how I'm meeting with my therapist and I'm showing up and I'm learning and I'm still doing the do.
Right.
Even right before we got on, you were like, I'm a little bit nervous, and you're still doing it. That's the most inspiring thing to people. You want to know what story's not inspiring?
What?
I was born into riches. I'm beautiful. I'm perfect. Everything worked well in my life and now I'm a millionaire.
Right.
People are like, good for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bye.
No, because none of us have that story.
Right.
We all have hardships.
Yeah.
We've all gone through so much stuff. I mean, we could have a 5-hour podcast about the things that I have gone through,
Right.
outside of a cancer diagnosis. And I always say what's interesting is not what's happened to you, but who you've become in the face of it.
Right.
Right. Look at who you're becoming and the way that your testimony is going to inspire somebody else. And I know you've gone through a lot, and that testimony is going to set somebody else free to say, well, look at her. If she did it, I can do it too.
Exactly.
I'm not broken.
Right.
I don't need to carry shame.
Right.
What story can I write next for myself? Because I saw her do it. I know it's possible for me too. It's a permission. Your life, your story is a permission for people. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm celebrating you in that.
Thank you so much. I received that. And being able to receive. Like you taught me the true meaning of celebrating others without feeling left behind or left out. That, well, they're having success and I'm not. And as I said at the beginning, this podcast is for Gen Z who are searching for what they want to do, what they want to become, who they want to become. And you have so many golden nuggets of pieces of advice for them throughout this podcast. But what would you tell a lost, confused person in the generation underneath us? We're millennials, that Gen Z is right under us. What would you tell them to do to find their way, to find their purpose?
Seek somebody who has done what they want to do. Like, first and foremost, know that you are worthy of whatever life that you want to create for yourself. No matter what your backstory is, no matter what your background, no matter what has or hasn't happened to you, we are divine children of God, and we are meant to be here to prosper. So you are worthy for whatever dream that you desire for yourself. Maybe you haven't even given yourself permission to dream. Can you right now? Can you get quiet? Can you go somewhere beautiful? Bring a journal journal and say, if I dared to dream, what kind of life would I want to create for myself? What would that be? How do I want to feel? Who do I want to be around? Like, give yourself permission first and foremost to create that dream. And then once you have it, find someone somewhere who has accomplished what you want to accomplish and stay as close to them as possible. Proximity is power, and mentorship has the ability to close the gap and take what could take 10 years on your own and do it in 1 to 2 years. And so being around people who have what you desire or have walked a path that you desire to walk is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Ask to be around them for free, ask to intern, ask to support them, just be near them. Being around people who are steps ahead of me has been one of the most radical and impactful things that I've done. And I always have a coach. I always have someone that I'm learning from, someone who's mentoring me, someone who's getting me to think a different way. And right now, my coach is one of my coaches. His name is Ray Higdon. We've been bringing him into our business community, but I'm not paying him one-on-one. I'm getting into group calls with him. I'm reading his books. I'm studying his work. So it doesn't have to be this big, I got to save up all this money to have a one-on-one coach. It doesn't have to do that. It has to be stay in their sphere, their books, their podcasts. We have access to so much free information. And the last thing I'll say that may be cool or may not be cool, but I was baptized last week, and it's changed my life. I've had a relationship with Jesus over the last 6 years since my cancer journey, and it's been a slow unfolding for me. But my life has continued to change and prosper in direct correlation to the ways that I've surrendered and let him into my life. And after getting baptized last week, something has changed inside of me. And I truly want to share the message of salvation with people, that you don't have to do it alone. There's so many people are walking through life depressed, anxious, overwhelmed, lonely, and we do have the love of Jesus with us at all times. Whether you let it in or not, he is there. And the moment that you say his name, the moment you say Jesus Christ and you call him in, you start watching your life change. So find churches. Like in Austin, we have Christian Life Church, which is an amazing church. There's lots of worship music. There's tons of churches here and all over the world, but that could be a really beautiful community. And a lot of people have story narratives about church or faith or Jesus or about what it means. If you're not where you want to be, are you willing to put all of that aside and just ask for help, knowing that you don't have to hold it all on your own? That would be my recommendation, because I'm grateful that I'm here at 40 instead of 70, but man, what a beautiful thing to invite his love in earlier. My children are 2 months, 3 and 6, and I'm just bathing them in the love of Jesus, so that no matter what happens in their life, they have that relationship to fall back on. Whether I'm physically here or not, they have him. And that's really a gift that I want to give to them. And I hope that's a gift that I can give to somebody listening today.
Oh, I love that, Carly. Praise God. I love that so much. You are definitely anointed, for sure. What a gift. What a gift. I feel like we should end on that.
Okay.
Like, I love that. That's a perfect period, because, well, I'll say that it was discovered that we have a spiritual center in our brain. So if somebody out there doesn't have a spiritual relationship with Jesus, that they're missing something. And we could have a whole other podcast about seeking other things to fill our voids. I've done it. Everybody's done it.
Oh, same. My college years were pretty dark.
Yeah. And I bet you would say, thank God I went through that so that I can rise above it and be the woman I am today.
Absolutely. Yeah. It all shapes us.
Right. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Carly. And we can find you on Instagram at Carly Loves Kale.
Carly Loves Kale.
Any other parting words you want to share? I think we covered it.
Yeah, I just really want to encourage people that if there's a whisper in your heart, to lean into it, and that there are people who want to support you. There are people who want to reach out a hand and pay forward the blessings and the gifts that they've received. But it starts with you asking first, whether that's verbally asking or just in quiet prayer, meditation, reflection. Like, I'm ready for something to change.
Right.
I'm ready to be called forth. I'm ready for my purpose. I'm ready, with the social media being so prevalent, there's so much comparison going on. So just really encouraging people to get quiet, get clear on what it is that you desire. Start whispering those prayers and calling in the support, the mentorship, the guidance that you need, because it is out there. There are people like us out there who want to turn around and reach out a hand and call people forth and hold space for them. And I'm grateful for podcasts like this that are facilitating conversations where maybe my voice wouldn't be heard, to this demographic of people just through my social media platform. So, just the encouragement that you deserve to live a really beautiful life. Everybody does, no matter what your background is, and knowing that you're worthy of that. You're worthy of that.
Amazing. Thank you, Carly.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Wow, what a conversation. Carly reminds us that the real work isn't just about building businesses or checking off milestones. It's about becoming the kind of person who can actually hold the life you're building. Give yourself permission to dream and get near someone who's already doing it. Proximity is power. If this episode served you, tap follow, leave a quick review, and share it with a friend who says they'll start when they're ready. You can find Carly on Instagram at CarlyLovesKale, and you'll find links in the show notes. I'm Natalie Payton Newman. Thanks for listening to Uncharted Your Sidekick for Life. Catch more episodes, resources, and updates at foundingup.com. See you on the next episode.